to announcements regarding that. We got you, man. We got you. Be a crazy donation, baby. Crazy donation. Biggest one we've had on the channel. Biggest one. But here we go. Here we go. We are getting into the grand finals, los grand finales. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestone Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. As we are going to be moving out to early SCV across the map, we're going to be avoiding the main scouting pattern, and the goal here should be to slip into the natural and to throw down the eBay. So we're setting up for the block. Oh, never mind. Okay, we're still on patrol. Still on patrol. And we're going 2 racks. 2 racks Reaper. We're not going for the eBay block. With 2 racks Reaper, we can still set up a bunker alongside this. This is not as committed as Bjorn's build. Remember, Bjorn went for something similar last game. Last game against Clem, Bjorn went 2 racks Reaper, proxied both racks. Here, this is less committed. Only 1 racks is across the map. The other racks is back at home. So this is nowhere near as committed, nowhere near as invested. Designed to get some damage done. Oh, my apologies. You have my attention. We have a Marine first back at home. Does open a Marine. Are we going for the add-on? We are. We're going for the proxy Marauder. Let's go. The Marine not being a Reaper here was a tell that we weren't going proxy 2 racks Reaper. We're going instead proxy Marauder. Okay. Let's go. It's been a while. It has been a while here. With these Marauders, we can, of course, break the natural base and break through the shield battery. There's a lot of potential with this if it goes unscouted, and so far, MaxPax, he hasn't really seen anything to tip him off. Nothing yet. So, cheeky build here by Clem. Very cheeky. As Marauders are amassing. Yes, anonymous, sorry, anonymous. Crazy, crazy. As again, no safety shield battery, no setup. This is catching MaxPax off guard. Yeah, boys are being pulled. Boys are being pulled so far. It does quite well. Oof. So far losing 1 Marine. 1 Marine goes down. Shield battery's on the way. Clem, can he get on top of that sentry? Can he get on top of the Stalker? Again, we're still pulling more boys. MaxPax is buffering well. But there's still 3 Marauders left over. Does go for the Stalker. Up! The Stalker barely goes down. But it looks like the shield battery is done, and MaxPax is holding on. That still does cost him 11 probes. 11 workers did fall. That's a lot of economic damage. Despite that, Clem is still down in workers, as this is quite committed. And Clem, he doesn't break through. He does not break MaxPax. He even got a safety second pylon. MaxPax holds. MaxPax, he does hold on. Doesn't want to get caught by the force field. Gets a Stalker. Gets a Stalker. We're following up with another Rax, actually. Okay, so we have a 3-rack setup. We're committing quite hard. We're going for a 3-rack stim timing here. Stim is on the way. Marines are going to be amassing. And I do appreciate that Clem pulls back. He doesn't force the... Oh, I was going to say he doesn't force the issue. So he does preserve most of his Marauders. Most of them. Can he save Stim? Uh-oh. Stim is going to be targeted, and Stim is not going to finish. Oh, or will it? And Marauders, they dive in. They're forced to trade. Every Marauder is going to go down. Down to 1. Yeah, down to 1. Soon to be down to 0. And Stim will not be saved. Brutal loss here for Clem. He threw away his army to save Stim and he failed to do so. Stim wasn't saved. Marauders get thrown away. And suddenly that Stim timing isn't there. It's not there anymore. MaxPax expands. And from here, MaxPax, he can run away with it. Takes the lead, gains map control. And Clem is in a rough position here. Again, he's stuck at home until Stim finishes. Until Stim is done. He has no tank production because of the 3-axe, which also means that if MaxPax gets high ground vision, he can just blink into the main. He can just go for the main base. He could even deny Stim for a second time. Yeah, speaking of high ground vision, he has it. Does push into the natural instead. True. He does rotate. Clem trying to keep up. This time, though, there's no bunker in the main. Blinks in. Tank Fleet Marauders are keeping up. Gets one, gets two Stalkers, and Clem holds. It's still quite close. As we have more reinforcing Stalkers. Breaks through all the Marines, getting on top of the Marauders as well. But Clem, he will hold, he will defend, he will save Stim. Whew, okay. Stim is going to be saved. Oh, nice juggling with the SCVs. Very nice control out of Clem. Controls well. Controls well. He defends. Third CC is on the way. Clem is expanding. If he wants to go for a 2-base all-in earlier, he has missed that timing. So we'll expand. Uh-oh. Clem moves out. As he moves out, there's not much, there's nothing at home, there's nothing here. There's one Marauder and two Marines. Second Marauder pops out. Oh boy. MaxPax back at home. Likewise, he has nothing to defend. There's the recall. Recall's back home. Probe's gonna be going down. Nice drop here by Clem. It's worth it. Gets 12, 13 probe kills. 13 workers go down. And even snipes the tech structures, going for the Temple Archives. Oh, doesn't quite get it. Doesn't get the Archives. MaxPax will hold. Oh, takes down the full medevac. Oh, God. Initially, it was solid damage, but Clem did lose everything there. That was a hefty blow. We're getting messy. We're getting very messy here. So with that, MaxPax still has a worker lead. Once again, going for the counterattack. Back at home, there are Marauders to defend, so Clem, he's secure on 2 bases, but it's all about expanding and getting the third. Can he get his third base up and running? Can he expand? MaxPax getting into Storm. Storm is on the way. Oh. Yo, the retard. Let's go. The retargeting. Este Clem. Again, reacting so fast. As Clem moves out with the drop. Oh, we'll bleed out the medevac though. Nice pick off at a MaxPax. Here he backs off. Likewise, Mind Drop does catch a couple of workers. That's 3 probes going down. The MaxPax, he defends, getting his 4th base. Still a very shaky mid game that we're getting into, but here come the storms. And storms are coming out. No ghost yet for Clem. The first ghost is on the way. But we've seen this before. As the MaxPax starts pushing, Clem is going for a counterattack. And Clem, can he buy time, or do we go for a pseudo base trade? Yeah, MaxPax is moving in. Let's go. Mind Shot's going up. Oof, brutal connections. Takes out most of the Zealots, but the 3rd CC is going to be forfeit. Here come the storms. Yeah, it does storm the tail end of the army. Still 2 Templar left. Force him morph in the Archon. There was another storm there, though. I wasn't able to spend it. Clem pushing in, still going for the base trade. Clem, he defends back at home. He pushes. Oh, it doesn't quite push into the natural. MaxPax trying to keep up. No anti-air. No stalkers. Clem just being so annoying. Joining back and forth. And Clem, he does gain momentum. Remember, he denied the fourth. Denied the fourth base. Taking his third. MaxPax's fourth base is incredibly late. And Clem does take that supply lead. Remember, the Protoss wants to be up a base compared to the Terran. And that's just not happening. Oh, nice catch. As Clem takes out the Prism. Prism goes down, Zults as well. And with this rotation, Clem, the win condition here, deny the fourth. Deny the fourth base over and over again. That's all that Clem needs to do. Zealot Runby does get across the map. And Temple moving in. Does end the storm. But there's a cancel. And Clem can just back off. He can just back off from here. He defends back at home. Doesn't really lose much. Clem, he's just snowballing out of control. MaxPax, he cannot keep up. Not without a fourth base. He needs the fourth. He needs it. Oh. Let's catch a ghost. I'm dropping into the main. Yeah, drops in. Again, MaxPax just cannot keep up. He doesn't have the supply for it. We'll lose the tech. Templar Archives, Forge, +2 is denied. And we just pick up. We just pick up a pull away. Oh, does leave a couple of ghosts behind. But overall, still worth it here for Clem. Oh, God. Does take a storm to the face. Storms are connecting, but he just wants the expansion. And once again, for the third time, he denies the fourth. That's a kill, not a cancel. MaxPax, he can never expand. Not like this. He just wants a base back. Just wants a fourth. And Clem is about to max. He's about to max out. True, I was so caught up in the game itself, I didn't even get to point out. I mean, it was a 2-rack opener, true. But I appreciate it. No mech. Yeah, I do. I was so engrossed in the game, I didn't even notice. But yeah. We did have the bio follow-up. No, Clem is showing us he can play some StarCraft. Ah. Let's go. He scans just to confirm. He confirms there's no base bottom right. Clem just ensuring he stays ahead. Now, there's a chance here that he can take a storm to the face. So there are 5 High Templars. So if he trades too poorly here, like MaxPax can try to take a fight. Storms, they graze the army. There's more storms on top of the ramp. Oof. And remember, Clem, he does not have to push up. He does not have to push up the ramp. Just hit the fourth. Just keep going. Keep denying the fourth base. And now he's simming in. Now he's simming forward. 0 storms remaining. There's 1 Templar left. Templar here on the right hand side. Another Templar's morphing in. EMP lands. EMPs are landing. Storms are denied, and GG gets called. Clem, he snowballs out of control, and Clem takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Clem does take a lead in the series, and with that, again, a very intense and back and forth game 1 here. It all began with a proxy 2 racks, sorry, I should say with 1 racks at home, 1 racks proxied into proxy Marauder. Was able to trade quite well. Remember, I think it was 11 to 12 probes went down at the start of the game, but then we had a shaky follow where Stim was denied, Stalkers were blinking into the bases. We could have seen maybe a little bit more damage being dealt there, but we had like that back and forth. Eventually, Clem, he was able to recover, able to bounce back with his draw play, with his counter counterattacks. It was still very back and forth, but in the end, Clem, he barely clutched it out. Once he denied the 4th base for the first time, he just ensured that the 4th base never did finish. GG. GG, well played. With that, Clem takes the lead, and now we're jumping to game number 2. We're jumping to game 2, loading into ley lines. Here we go. But again, we had some really impressive counterattacks and drop play out of Clem, getting into mineral lands, denying bases. Things got very chaotic. Got very chaotic. But here we go. We're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the top right-hand corner here of ley lines. We have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, leading the series 1-0, representing Team Liquid from land of France, it is Clem. We go. Again, the event itself has been running by quite quickly. We're actually sub 3 hours so far when it comes to the broadcast, but it's a best of 5, and hey, I'm hoping we can go the distance. Hoping we can go all the way here and have that back and forth. As once again, we do see the SCV moving out. This time the SCV is rallied into the natural, so this time we are going for the eBay block. MaxPax, he's scouting, he's checking, and it looks like he will find the SCV. There we go. Big scout here from MaxPax. He denies the eBay. He denies the block, and MaxPax can now safely expand. So a nice start here by MaxPax, a solid read. Clem has to get the hell out of here, has to pull away. From here, Clem just going for the rack to expand. Economic opener out of Clem. From here, we're settling in. Now, I should wind it back here. When it comes to the start of the series, we spoke about how Clem has been playing a lot of mechas of late. I glossed over it in the first game, but it did make sense because of the 2 racks opener, but Clem did not mech it up in game 1. I'm still expecting mech at some point in this series, but suddenly, you know, now we have more possibilities. Now things open up after the first game, where Clem doesn't have to exclusively play mech, he can embrace some bio play as well, and of course can excel with it. That's what I'm looking forward to, but we'll see. We'll see if he devolves back into mech again. Oh, no. Ah. As we do have our Twilight Council opener out of MaxPax. Back at home, Clem should be going for his 1-1-1 follow-up. Tech Lab on the racks. Okay, going for the add-on swap. I was curious if we would keep it on the racks for Concussive Shell, but is opening up Cyclone. So standard follow-up here by Clem. The Cyclone will keep the CC safe. Does get the safety bunker as well. So Clem will hold. Clem, he will hold, he will defend. As MaxPax, okay, decides to cut some corners here. You don't often see this. It was an economic opener out of Clem, and MaxPax is a rare sight. It does go 2-gate blink into a faster third. Okay. We have some metagaming going on here. So what it means to metagame, the meta does kind of dictate a certain kind of play style and a certain path, but you can kind of use that against your opponent. As Clem, he will scout immediately. Nice scout here by Clem. Now, when it comes to the meta here, it is very common to go for a delayed third currently in TvP. It's very, very common to delay your third base. As a result, because of how common 2-base all-ins have been, here MaxPax in a way does call Clem's bluff, does go for a very greedy follow-up, and now it's going to be on Clem to attempt to punish that greed or try to meet that greed. Third CC. Okay, third CC is on the way for Clem. MaxPax, he did not confirm this, but Clem, he's going for an economic follow-up as well, so we're building up into the mid-game. Let's go. And Hallucination will confirm. So MaxPax is aware. Does spot the faster third CC. Of Hyperlight Rotors, there's a high chance we're going to throw down some factories. Yeah, high chance here. This does scream the typical build that Clem goes for is 3 CC into 3 factory setup. We'll see if that leads to be true here. As this build looks very familiar. Very familiar. It looks, yep, there it is. There's the second, and we're waiting for a third factory as well. So again, the build looks very familiar. We've seen this before. We're going 3 CC into 3 factory. What do I jump across the map? So Clem, he is going into what he does best currently in current meta is mech. Now, I do really like MaxPax's position because he does have the faster third. He's going to have a boosted economy. MaxPax, he saw the initial opener. Is he familiar enough with Clem to also recognize the setup for mech? Forge on the way, getting to +1. Gateway explosion, so far so good. Third base is on the way. We have Macville Accelerators getting into Battle Mech. MaxPax, he's a little bit on autopilot. Going into Storm. That is a bit of a concern. It also tells us that I don't think MaxPax is fully aware of what's happening. Will poke away at the Marines. He's trading well. Picks up some of the bio. Banshees are counterattacking. And MaxPax tells he hallucinated into the main. Gets behind the mineral line. Oh, blinks in. Going for the tank. He will get it. Yeah, tank goes down. Nice pickup. And the battle mech is revealed. Oh, blinking forward gets punished for the blink. And MaxPax has to back off. At the same time, Banshees, they do get across about 2 Banshees. They can one-shot probes. They can and they will. Probes are going down, but MaxPax, he wants the CC. He shouldn't get it, though. Now going for the workers. Back at home, Stalkers do defend. Storm has begun. Okay, he sees the high alien count. He is fully aware it is mech. And MaxPax still just rallying. He wants to break this third. He's so close to doing so. Eyes closed, but Banshees, they race back home. Does pull away with the Observer. Nice save. The scan was meant to kill the Observer. Failed to do so. Observer did survive. Zealots, they do come in from behind. Stalker as well. Gets a tank. Gets one of the tanks, goes back into the mineral line, and you can see Clem is just being torn apart here. Just hyper aggression out of MaxPax. Likewise, nice force field. Zealots are still trading in the main base, getting 11 SCVs. Stalkers are go back in. Observer finally gets caught, and Clem does hold. But sustained a lot of losses. Losing tanks, SCVs, some of the Banshees. But Clem, he does save the third base, and now he's got his fourth. Fourth is on the way. He's been muling. Remember, Clem, he had a faster third CC to begin with, so he had a boosted economy. And despite losing all those workers, Clem is still up in workers, still up in SCVs. Clem is building up his mech. Race him into the main. Clem moves out, so we can see MaxPax going for a warp into the main base and a Zealot runway to the third. Can he pull Clem apart? Oh, Prism goes down. Prism goes down. There's one Banshee to defend at the third base. Storms, they do connect. They soften up the Cyclones. More Storms coming in. Cyclones, they do stand in the Storms. Yeah, Clem is trying to brute force the issue. He's trying to, but that's going to be 15 dead SCVs. So many workers going to be falling. And he just doesn't have the Cyclone count. Nice juggling, but he's down to 2 Cyclones. Yeah, the Cyclones just are not there. MaxPax defends. He defends, and he crippled the economy. MaxPax is all over this. Clem, that economic lead that he once had, it's not there. Not anymore. Not in the same way. Likewise, he lost a lot of Cyclones. That does slow him down. As Mech is very momentum based, and MaxPax is able to buy enough time to get his fourth. His fourth is getting fully operational. Oh. Going for the Hellbat drop. Love to see it. They try to waddle in. They can't quite make it. More Hellbat drops on the way. Let's go. Oh. Both players taking losses. Prism goes down. Nice done by Clem. Does take a Storm to the face. As Cyclones are getting caught out. Yeah, late reaction out of Clem. He does save the Cyclones. One does fall. But the others are getting lock-ons. And this time there's no Storm. As Zealots are coming from behind. At the same time, we do have a drop into the main base. So far, MaxPax trading well with his Gateway army. Again, mainly losing Zealots. And this is what MaxPax has to rely upon. His Gateway army, his Zealots, his Stalkers. To dive on top of those Cyclones whenever he can. Speaking of... Oh! Does avoid those lock-ons. Let's pull away. The Hellbat count is looking a little bit low. That is a concern. As probes are still going down. Speaking of, where are those Zealots, by the way? No War Prism. No War Prism, no reinforcements. Storm mainly zones. And the boys are being pulled. Lock-ons are connecting. That's a lot of Stalkers going down. And Clem, he might just have too much here. Yeah, lock-ons are brutal. Takes down all the Immortals. Gets us all the Stalkers again. Where were the Zealots? The Zealots weren't here. Clem, he takes the fight. We need a more charged thus back. Oh, as Stalkers, they can't escape the lock-ons. Yeah, brutal losses from MaxPax. Clem, he's snowballing out of control. He did lose 17 SCVs. True, did lose a lot of workers there. But he does maintain a higher Cyclone count. He's on 8. Still building up more. He rotates, does find a Nexus. Nexus should go down. Hellions, they distract. And the base falls. Okay, nice pick off. Clem is still just committed to pure battle mech. More Hellions, more Cyclones. This time MaxPax does have some charge bots, thankfully, and some Storms to support. Diving on the planetary. Yeah, repairs are not in time. Storms, they do connect with the Medivacs as well. Jesus. Okay, brutal Storm. Storms, they connect well. Nice split set with the Cyclones. As we're going to be down to 2 storms. So I'll say catch reinforcements. Still have this back and forth trade. Oh, as this time Clem is in position. Yeah, he's in position at the planetary. Clem, he will hold. MaxPax double expanding, getting a little bit desperate. But he does need a base. That expansion gets him to the high grounds. Avoids one of the storms. There's what, 2 storms left? Soon to be 3. Locals a breakthrough with the Zealots. This is one of the big reasons why I'm so concerned about the lack of Warp Prism, is whenever the Zealots go down, it's so important to reinforce with more Zealots to just tank those lock-ons. Without them, these have been some expensive trades for MaxPax. Does get himself the planetary. Planetary goes down, but this is what we spoke about. The lock-ons, they punish the Stalkers. They punish everything. These are expensive units. Yeah, the Immortal, the High Templar, the Archon. Ay. Very expensive losses there for MaxPax. Remember, his economy isn't ideal. We get an OK storm, but we're running out of storms. Another base goes down, and Clem, he's done it. At this point, Clem has done it. These trades have just been too poor for MaxPax. Hellbat's dropping in. From here, Clem can just rotate towards the low ground. Is he aware of the base? He is. Here's aware of the expansion. From here, he can push forward. Oh, we have 2 storms. And those are the final storms. Tempo morphing in. The Cyclone count isn't quite there, but that's going to be 16 probe kills. Once again, brutal economic damage. No, yeah. And Stalkers, they cannot fight head on like this. Not like this. There's 1 storm. Oh, God. Jesus, the lock-ons are so long. The Cyclone lock-ons are so brutal here. Oh, God. He blinks away and he's still within range of the lock-ons. That's how brutal that is. And again, it's why it's so crucial that you have a different unit to tank that lock-on. There's the scan. There are a couple of storms. Let's go 2 High Templar with the main army. 2 Templar. Hellbat drop into the natural. We'll distract. Let's chase into a storm. There's still another storm available. Oh God, this lock-ons do punish though. Oh no, High Templar goes down. Jump into the main. And again, MaxPax is doing everything he can, just keep his head above water. He does hold on to the center expansion. True, I thought this was going to be broken earlier, but he holds on to it. So MaxPax, he's able to sustain his army. Likewise, Clem also he should get another expansion as well. The base count is still very low for both players. And we might just come into a base trade here. MaxPax pulls away. He pulls away. Nexus is going to go down. Mineral land as well. Again, we are trading. No planetary. And we're getting messy. We're getting messy, man. We're getting messy here as that's going to be 26 probe kills going down. 26 workers. Zelsa still just popping off. Still catching more SCVs. That's a kill, not a cancel. Guess another Nexus. Keep saying planetary. Guess another Nexus. Stalkers catching out the Cyclones. Very nice. That's what, 3-4 Cyclones going down. The Zealots, they kill the CC. That should not have happened. Yeah, Clem, he was inattentive, did not lift. That wasn't a planetary, he could have. CC goes down. Ay, 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 that means less mules as well. MaxPax, has he done it? Has he done it, baby? Again, Clem, he was trading very well for the most part, but his bases, like, he wasn't expanding, wasn't getting more CCs. Both players are broke. But MaxPax still has mining, which is more than I can say for Clem. Clem, he's got some saturation. He's got a couple of patches at his third. Okay, main base does float over. Oh. I'm trying to boost in. This could still go either way, but I lean towards MaxPax here. Just because of the size of his army and because of his income. Clem, he needs time for this base to really kick in. Oh. It's a couple of probes. It's a couple of workers. GG gets called. Clem, he runs out of steam, and MaxPax, he will take a game number 2, tying things up 1-1. GG. Very intense, very messy game here from both players. We saw MaxPax taking some really rough trades. At the same time, Clem, after losing certain bases, he was not replenishing, he was not rebuilding those CCs, so his own economy was also very low, so it was very scrappy between Clem and MaxPax. In the end, MaxPax, he ended up coming out on top when it came to the quote-unquote base trade. Yes, we had Clem killing 2 Nexi, that's true, killed 2 bases, but he lost his most crucial mining expansion. We saw it was killed, not lifted. That was the moment when he lost the southern CC. He lost all the workers as well, and GG, well played. The attention wasn't quite there, and with that, MaxPax does fight back. Oh. Here we go. As we are getting to our next game. Looks like our players need a moment. Understandable. It was a very intense game. Very intense. So understandable that they do need a moment here to catch their breath. Understandable. Here we go. Game 2, I'm not too certain as to what the vetoes were, so I'm still a little bit in the dark as to that. So I do think that Clem had a little momentum with his mech. I would imagine that the next time that MaxPax does play against Clem's mech, he would probably approach it in a bit of a different way. Again, the pure Stalker style was quite costly. Did win in the end, but it's not easy, papi, not easy. Do you think it's viable to play more defensive as Protoss, securing more bases like cannons and batteries? More defensive as Protoss? Ooh, I would say no. Your implication there is allowing the Terran player to build and expand. Right now, the meta and the way that TvP operates is not just that Protoss players typically gain map control, typically, not necessarily against BattleMech like this. With BattleMech, it's different. Clem, he's able to successfully kind of vie for map control, threaten bases, and apply a lot of pressure. If you're referring to, like, relinquishing map control from the side of Protoss, that sounds terrifying. I would not. I don't think that's the wisest choice. Typically, it's more important that the Protoss player stays on top of the bases of the Terran and denies expansions and stops the Terran from getting out of hand and getting out of control. It's not PvZ. PvZ is where Protoss can get away with just turtling up and getting into Sky Toss. Oh. As here we go. We're getting into our next game. But specifically against Battle Mech, I'm not too certain. Like, I think MaxPax had a decent idea. Like, I love that he was trading as often as he was. I just wasn't too fond of the idea that he had no reinforcement points for his army, and likewise he was maybe a little bit too heavily reliant on stalkers at certain points. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Liquid, being forced into a tied series. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player. The blue Protoss representing Psystorm Gaming, the Danish Protoss. It is MaxPax. But yeah, as Elmo is referring to, it's typically like it is pretty crucial that the Protoss player like makes the Terran player fight for their 4th and fight for their 5th base, and delays that and tries to get an economic lead behind it. Relinquishing map control, it doesn't sound like it would end well in PvT. Would be ill-advised. For now, double gas opener out of Clem. Double gas into a faster factory, into a delayed CC. Welcome to Pylon, by the way. True. Okay, we can focus on our games. Pylon is one of the smaller maps. The map pool aggression is favored here. I'm curious to see if Clem goes into mech, what style of mech he goes for. Again, because the map is so small, if you do gain momentum on Pylon, it can be very difficult to stop that. Like, we have seen games end very, very quickly with these move outs, with these pushes. This is also the map where I've made reference to it a couple of times, but Cure, he's very fond of going into a more tank heavy style of mech on Pylon, just because you can instead, as a Terran player, turtle up on 3 bases, build up your tank count, and then very quickly, once you have a large enough army, just push across the map. And it takes seconds to walk across, to siege up your army, and to wedge yourself in between the 3rd and natural. Here on Pylon, it can be quite brutal. Can be very brutal, but I don't know if Clem is really one to play that style. I do know that Clem and Cure do play together, they do practice together. They've been vocal about that after Cure joined Team Liquid, but I don't know if they're similar when it comes to their mech styles. I guess we'll find out. Guess we will find out. As from here, we're gonna be opening up with a Widow Mine Drop. Mine Drop on the way. Meanwhile, MaxPax opening up Twilight Council doesn't make things up. Doesn't make things up here. As Reaper's going to be trapped, they do get 3 probes though. Not bad. 3 workers go down, gets a full scout. Does confirm the tech. That Clem does confirm. Widow Mine Drop is scouted. MaxPax is aware. And we'll see if Clem goes into an Adelsol from here. Likewise, we'll see if Clem goes for another fast 3rd CC. If you remember, the tell was 3 CC, not Cloak Banshee, but High Flight Rotors instead. There's the Adelsol. Stalkers, they rush past the bunker. Remember, no Cyclone. Widow Mine instead. And that's going to be 2 SCV kills. Gets 2 SCVs. Oh, we'll catch out the Marine. Oh. As MaxPax, he's forced out. Behind this, not going into any upgrades, going Raven. Does open up Raven tank. Okay, higher chance that we're going to go into a bio setup here from Clem. Have my attention. There we go. Second Rax is on the way. We are playing Bio. Hallucination will confirm MaxPax sees no mech, not this time. Also confirms that's a Rax after the starport. So we're getting to a standard 3-1-1 setup. Oh, what do my joke does come in? Shouldn't get much done. Gets a sentry and 2 probes. Okay, not bad. Sentry 2 workers, scouts at third base. Behind this, how many gateways? 2 gate blinkers to a third. Once again, greedy build out of MaxPax. And he will get away with it. So cheeky moves. We've seen MaxPax twice now this series go into this faster third. Has gotten away with it. Now going to charge, eventually taking up into splash damage. We'll see whether it's going to be Colossus or Storm. Shall see Hallucination checking for extra Raxes. Does see +1. +1 is on the way. If we see 2 more Raxes, it'll be more indicative of a 2 base all in. Likewise, MaxPax also looking for a 3rd CC. And there it is, 3rd CC is on the way. So Clem is building up into the mid game. And MaxPax has yet to fully confirm. Nice harass. Gets 3 probes, okay. 3 probes go down, late reaction out of MaxPax. Nicely done by Clem. Clem does sip in. Remember, there is no stim, not yet. So he doesn't really get much done here. Oh, gets 2 probes. Picks up 2. Nice target firing. Gets up to 8, 9 probe kills as we do pop off in the main. 9 workers go down. Shout out to the Raven. Yes, the Medivac barely gets away. Very close. 8 HP. Get out of here. Oh no! MaxPax is hunting him down. And Clem should barely get away. Does boost. No! Boosts away, but doesn't have any space. Clem gets chased down. Here comes a move out there. Does move out through the center. Move out gets spotted. Clem checking for the 4th. There is none. Storm is complete. Clem backs off, takes his base, and now we're taking into Ghost. So we're slowing things down here, getting into Ghost play, getting into the mid game. And we'll see how Clem can handle himself. We'll see if we can land those EMPs. That's what it'll come down to. Come down to the EMPs, come down to the storms. If you recall, I was mentioning how I recommend watching Beyond versus Hero earlier today in the best of 5, and they had an amazing series here. And again, Beyond, he had some insane EMPs. We're looking to see the same here from Clem. Like, we're heavily reliant on those EMPs. We have 4 High Templar moving out. Ghosts are still building up for Clem. He has 3 so far, soon to be 6. We get spotted. There's the first storm. AP lands on 1. Again, Max actually pulls back to the Templar and makes sure they're safe. He's forcing out 1 EMP at a time. Now the storm comes in, grazes the army. The army's getting very low. Even gets a tank. And MaxPax down to the final storm. And with that, MaxPax has to get out of here. Yeah, he has to pull away. You can see as soon as MaxPax runs out of storms, he backs off. He backs off. He wants none of that. Gets the hell out of there. And we're taking up into Colossus. So the Bay is on the way, getting ready for Colossus production. Again, with this many ghosts, it's hard to rely on purely Storm. So you need those Colossi. Oh, that's a ghost. Does catch one of the ghosts. The Raven's still being active across the map. So we have Storms for the most part grazing the army. Nothing major yet. APs do land. There's one Storm left. Nice snipe. At the same time was a distraction. Zealous get into the mineral line. Once again, good reaction by Clem. Pulls away and losing 4 SCVs. It could have been so much worse. But does pull away in time. And we're maxing out. Clem, he's maxed. MaxPax, he's still getting there. He only has the 1 Colossus so far, so his army is looking quite vulnerable, depending on the High Templar, depending on the EPs. Speaking of, 1 Storm lands. Takes down the tank. Oof. Yeah, Clem, you cannot chase through like that. As he is punished. Second starport's on the way, getting ready for Mass Viking. He's getting ready for it. Till then, Clem is stuck defending. And it's still quite tense. MaxPax still looking for a way in. He's spotted by the tower. Oof. He does rush forward. Yeah, the army's out of position. Gets the bunker, but doesn't quite commit. At the same time, another Zealot run by, but the planetary does defend. Oh. Clem trying to come in from behind. He gets a Colossus. And nice spread. Baits out a couple of storms. More storms coming in. There's 1 Colossus remaining. It's going to be chased down by the Vikings. And now no more Colossi. But there's still a couple of storms remaining. There's 1 Templar. Oh. Yeah, the EMPs are brutal here. And Clem, he will take the fight. He can chase him down. There's no Storm and there's no Colossus. Which means there's nothing to stop the Terran. The Terran can't... Oh, never mind. Out of medevac energy. Never mind. He has the army. He should be chasing, actually. There's not much to defend. Clem, you're maxed. We keep going. Keep going back. MaxPax, he can't stop you. MaxPax is down to... I mean, he does warp in a wave of High Templar, but you can see they have so low energy. There's not many storms here. This is Clem's moment. This would be his time. But he's playing very scared. He's giving MaxPax time to rebuild. To slowly build up the Colossus. To gather more energy for more storms. Clem playing scared. I mean, you can frame it a couple of ways. Either scared or just playing very carefully. Doesn't want to throw away his lead. Oh, does get a Colossus. Does catch 1. Gets the Templar as well. Oh, barely doesn't get the Templar. Prism gets into the main. Clem is racing all the way back into the main base. Yeah, rough run by. Same time, Clem dropping across the map. It's going to be 10 SCV kills. The Zealots are still going ham, going for another warp in. That Prism is brutal. Oh. Lands a couple of EMPs. There's still a lot of storms. Yeah, still a little storms left. Vikings have to pull away. A chaotic fight here for Clem. And there's still Zealots in the main, finally going down. Now, the plus side for Clem is that MaxPax doesn't have a bank. Because of these trades and because of how efficient Clem has been, MaxPax, he doesn't really have a bank to work with. So this is still okay for Clem, even if he missed a window earlier. Still in a better position, now expanding. Right, because they catch another Colossus. Not very nice EMP. There's 6 Templar, but only 1 Storm. And this time we better keep pushing. this time we better not turn around again. Clem, we need that confidence. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. The final Storm. And with that, no Storms remaining, he can stim forward. Oh, has to respect those Zealots. Kites back. Ooh, high energy Ghost goes down. Brutal loss there for Clem. And here comes another Templar. Here comes that NG overcharge. There's 1 more Storm. That's the final Storm. Nice snipe. And again, I feel like we can keep trading. Last does pull away. MaxPax slowly rebuilding his Colossus. And once again, just wants to be careful. Pulls back, rotates. Clem can collapse in. Doesn't go for it. Clem doesn't set up at the surround. Going for the counterattack instead. And there are 4 Templar left. Ooh, Storms are connecting. Yeah, they're just buying time. Max actually defends. Oh, but I say that he will lose the base. Nexus goes down, and Clem, he may try to pull MaxPax apart. A couple of high templates to defend. MaxPax, you can always recall. He's hunting with the Templar. Oh, nice feedback. Does feedback the Ghost. And to be fair, Clem, he doesn't see what we see. But thankfully, he is dropping. Getting into the mineral line. Going for the Nexus, actually. And he will bring it down. Yeah, just barely. Snipes the base, pulls away, pushing on the right-hand side. Recall was just spent. And now I can go for another expansion. Yeah, bases, they're falling left and right. That's going to be 2 bases falling now for MaxPax. And he will lose another. Another Nexus goes down. And Clem, he has to get out of here. Ooh. We'll lose 1 medevac. 1 medevac goes down. Clem, he just keeps pushing. Momentum is on his side. And Liberation has arrived. Yeah, and MaxPax, he can't quite keep up here. He's got 4 High Templars, got minimal Storm. Now we got the Liberators. They've arrived. Nice EMP. No Storm. Yeah, once again, no Storm. Another base goes down, and Clem, he finally has done it. He did outtrade MaxPax a couple of times already this game and did secure himself. I was concerned he was giving MaxPax too much time to recover, but nah. He kept going, he kept pushing, thankfully. And with that MaxPax, he almost has nothing left. He lost his 3rd, he lost his 4th, he lost his 5th. He's rebuilt his 6th base. This is it, this is his economy. Clem is already remaxed. And Clem just has to keep trading. Just keep pushing in, keep trading. Oh. EMP's catching out the Archons. And this is going to be the final army for MaxPax. His last stand. EMPs are brutal. Down to what? One storm? Not even. Yeah, the final storm doesn't quite connect. Drops, they keep going in. And it's all or nothing for MaxPax. Again, his final push. There's just too much freedom, Pappy. Too much freedom. Too many liberators. He cannot move in. MaxPax, he cannot push. Not into all these freedom zones. Not into the liberation. And he's forced back home. He's forced back home. There's nothing to really come back to. As MaxPax turns around, he recognizes he cannot push into the liberators. So, what can he do? Now, if Clem gives him time again to get another base up and running, then maybe, but Clem, he should be more active. Uh-oh. The armies do pass by each other. MaxPax moving in. Clem a little bit out of position here. There's 3 High Templar. Down to 2. 2 Templar left. Warping in 1 more. Yeah, there's not that many Stalkers. They can just siege on top of the army. And they will. They do just siege in. With that mass EMPs, and Clem, he will solve the army. GG gets called. Clem takes a 2-1 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Clem, he had some very strong moments in this game. It was pretty impressive, but we saw that Clem, he was kind of lacking that killer instinct. There were, I want to say, like 2 or 3 big moments where Clem, he took some big fights. MaxPax, he was running out of storms time and time again, and whenever he would, Clem wouldn't press his advantage. He would back off, he'd be more tentative. It did feel like Clem was maybe a little bit scarred. Maybe he's been in that position before where he maybe overextends and throws his lead and pushes into a Protoss, and maybe he doesn't expect storms to be there and things go awry. So it did look like Clem was overly cautious against MaxPax, most likely just because of previous games they've had, which was giving MaxPax the opportunity to actually recover and keep the game going. And that did happen like 2 or 3 times. In the end though, Clem, he maintained his lead, snowball from there. GG. GG, well played. Ooh. GG. She's like, crazy how Protoss gets infinite storms this patch. If you weren't watching, and I do apologize if I didn't emphasize them enough, but there were like, again, 3, maybe even 4 big moments where MaxPax was running out of storms. Like he straight up was running out of storms, and those are these big moments for Clem to be able to just take advantage of the army and just take better trades and take better fights. We were trying to harp on those moments as well, if you weren't watching. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into our next game, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Sidestorm Gaming. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Terran player. We have the blue Terran. We have the French Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. I've seen Australia do it against Terran, but that was against Bio, and it can be hard to get a good position for Protoss when the Terran is really aggressive. So we casted those games. They're on YouTube if you want to tune in. It was Australia versus, he did it against Gumiho and Cure during the EWC Global Qualifiers, and he did it against, I want to say, was it Björn? It was Björn and Clem during Picasso Cup. So there were 2 big tournaments where he did it on. But it's important to bear in mind that Astray, he wasn't just hyper defensive. He was gaining map control. He was taking bases. He was even taking bases away from the opposing player as well. He was playing it slow and getting into Skytoss, but by no means was he passive in those games. Like, he was active where he needed to be. And that was also very map dependent, if you remember. It really excelled on maps like Ley Lines, that's it, Ley Lines, and Ultra Love as well. Tokamak was a little bit more dicey, just because it was more difficult for him to deny bases, but on Ultra Love and Ley Lines, he was able to. He was able to deny bases, deny expansions, and even take bases away from the opposing Terran player. So that style does feel a lot more map dependent. Yeah, we casted those games. go. As we're settling into game number 4. Also, Australia, because I'm pointing out like 2 of those tournaments he was playing that in. I want to say he did in 3 tournaments. Players did recognize what he was doing, and he got, I don't know if I want to say figured out, but his play style, it permeated throughout the scene, and everyone took notice, and it's not as effective anymore. Terran players did get better at breaking Australia early, and stopping him from actually like getting up to that point. That's why if you watch Australia nowadays, he doesn't play that style anymore. That was like a prevalent style for a couple of weeks leading into EWC. But that style did fall off. Did fall off. Oh. As we have our Twilight counts open out of MaxPax. We have seen a lot of greedier builds out of MaxPax this series. It was twice now we've seen 2-gate blink into a 3rd. We'll see if he goes for it again. So far, 2-gate blink. Reapers get shut down. This time, he does not get 3 probe kills. So a rougher start here for Clem. MaxPax does at least get the Robo on 2 bases. At least. And Clem behind this getting to his own 1-1-1. Into Cloak Banshee this time. Cloak Banshee's on the horizon. Wooderman drop coming in as well. We're expecting the expansion out of MaxPax. There it is. So 3 games now in this series going 2-gate blink. And he does pull the boys, and he will barely focus down that Widowmine. Clutch moves out of MaxPax. He defends well. From here, we're settling it. We do have our eBay for +1. Here, we're kind of waiting to see if Clem gets a 3rd TC or throws down extra Raxes. See if he commits on 2 bases or not. Loading into Tokamak, we're expecting him to get into a 3rd base. Tokamak is one of the larger maps in the map pool. It's very defensive as well. It can be quite difficult to make 2 base all-ins really work on this map. Can be quite difficult just because of the terrain. There's a lot of ramps, a lot of points of elevation. And of course, easier to scout any kind of all-in. So MaxPax, he's waiting outside. And MaxPax building up into Storm. Clem getting into Bio. No mech, just the once this series. Just the once. Bearing in mind 2 Banshees, they can one-shot probes. They hit the 3rd base. Probe's going to be going down. And where is the detection? Observers across the map. Oh, force a recall. Observer does recall back home. And MaxPax call with his pants down. The Stalker's not in position. Observer's not in position. 13 probe kills. 14. Gets an entire mineral line. And the Banshees get away. Wow, not a single Banshee goes down. Insane damage here by Clem. MaxPax, he wasn't quite able to spot, wasn't quite able to confirm. And Clem takes a lead. Clem does take a lead here. Will still expand, getting a 3rd. The base is on the way. Clem building up in towards the mid game, but goes into the mid game with a lead. We speak about this all the time, but TVP is very momentum-based, and getting a lead this early on is brutal. MaxPax is so difficult to recover from that to get some kind of counter damage. As Clem is pushing, Storm is not ready. Clem going for the base. As Mine shots are popping up. We're still 5 seconds away. Storm should finish up in time. It was close, but there's a first storm. Storm lands. And we have one more storm behind this. And MaxPax does hold. Whew. Does hold on. The Banshees are not done. They're not done. And there's still only one observer, by the way. It's just the one observer. Banshees, they just pop off. That's going to be another 10 probe kills. Ay, ay, ay. 12, 13, 14. This is game-ending damage. Game-ending damage here. The hero Banshees in total 30 probe kills. Oh, that's 2 mineral lines, papi. Not like this. MaxPax, he's pretty committed here. He has to do crippling damage. He's moving out. He has potential. He has storms. Ghost is still on the way. MaxPax, we gotta go. Results behind the army. Into the bases. Nicely done. Clem getting distracted. It's all or nothing here for MaxPax. He's got to send it here and now. Tempo rallies in. Very nice spread here by Clem. Does take one storm to the face. That was the final storm. Yeah, no more storms left. He's run out of storms. Had Templar going down. Zelce pop up in the main. The charge lots. 18 SCVs. Okay. 18 SCVs going down. Very nice. The main army did struggle, but workers are falling. MaxPax pulls away. Zelce still in the bases. Yeah, shaky defense here by Clem. And again, it wasn't the main army, it was the charge lots. The Zealot run by. The Zealot drop even. 23 SCVs. The lead that Clem once had, not there anymore. We spoke about it. MaxPax had to do something drastic to recover in this game, and he pulled it off. He pulled it off, happy. Oh. Prism goes down. Nothing to keep Clem back. Now, what's important here is that, yes, that was a lot of crippling economic damage. That was 25 SCV kills. That is insane damage. But Clem still has a larger army. Despite that, storms are coming in. There's 3-Eye Templar. And Clem is across the map. He's across the map. He cannot defend back at home. He's forced to defend his natural, dropping into the main base. MaxPax, he can always recall. He's going in. He's going for the kill. We're going for the base trade. Oh, the army's heavily overstimmed. Sorry, the Storm's even. Yeah, Storm shut him down, and MaxPax, has he done it? He's still pushing into the natural. GG. Oh my god, and MaxPax, he ties things up. We're going to the ace match. GG. No GG out of Clem, as I can sense the frustrations there. Clem, he had a massive lead, a massive advantage. The Banshees were winning him that game, but alas, the defense wasn't there. He was unable to stop the Zealot harass in the main bases, in the main base, in the natural. Those charge lots won MaxPax the game, and the attention wasn't quite there for Clem. Wasn't quite there. Wow, GG. We're going to game 5. We're going to game 5. See Miguelito in the chat. Hi, papi. Este Miguelito. Buenos días, papi. Buenos días. Here we go. Hopefully Clem is okay. I know Clem can be a very emotional player, so hopefully he's okay after that last game. Aye, aye, aye. Hopefully you can calm down as we're getting into the ace match. Here we go. Here we go, as we're getting into the final game of the series, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Magnatha, we have the Danish Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing System Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing... Oh, wait. Oh, his mental was broken, papi. Oh, no. He's switching to Protoss, no longer Terran after that last game, and we'll see what he has to offer here. It is a Clem. there's a lot to discuss. I am concerned for. I mean, we spoke about how he can be a very emotional player. No, the mental is broken. He's gone full Protoss now. So when it comes to Clem's Protoss, if you remember, infamously for a long time, Clem, he's said this before. This was what, a year ago now. Clem, he said, or I say a year, maybe like 6 to 8 months. He said the one thing that was stopping Clem from switching to playing and competing as Protoss was PvP, right? He was confident in his PvT, of course. That's why he was playing it. He was confident in his PvZ. He was even giving skillless builds to actually play and compete and actually take maps and take series off of big Koreans as well. When it came to sharing builds with his teammates, even helping out Mana. True. But PvP has been Clem's weakest matchup. Now, that was true for quite some time. In recent weeks, he has been focusing post-EWC. Clem has been working on his PvP. That is true. I haven't seen the fruits of his labor. I have not seen his PvP like since EWC, so I don't really know what to expect. What I can say for certainty is that MaxPax, his weakest matchup was PvP this year. This year, it was straight up his weakest matchup, but he was really struggling up until around a month ago. I think it's been around 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks where MaxPax, he has been improving quite heavily in PvP, where he's been adjusting, he's been more chaotic, more dynamic. Clem, he will hide his pylon, he goes for a fake proxy pylon. MaxPax is scouting, looking for the proxy, one that doesn't really exist. So a cheeky start at a Clem is cheeky. He won versus MaxPax last time, probably a week ago. I think you're referring to, you're saying the Summer Championship. Okay, there you go. Unfortunately, we don't cast that, so I didn't get to see those games. But okay, we're getting some more context. As MaxPax does expand, so does Clem, but building up into a longer game. MaxPax's advantage here coming into this is the Stargate, so his Oracle can get across the map, can harass. Clem poking in. Ooh. Catching out a Stalker. Stalker goes down. I mean, at least did force the energy to be spent defensively. Clem is now aware of the Stargate, but the shield battery is now done, and MaxPax will hold. He will hold. He will defend. Clem, he actually doesn't really have a shield battery in the main or any stalks in the main base either. A little bit concerning. Clem, remember, he's aware of the Oracle. He knows. 2 Oracles are moving in, and I see nothing in the main. Okay, we have 3 Stalkers. 3 Stalkers, they rotate just in time. Clem is in position. He should be okay. Clem is ready. Here he does defend. Oh. Almost catching out the Oracle. And at least MaxPax does keep them alive. So from here he can double back. I see that does threaten the mineral line, just the one. And for the most part, we're settling into a longer game. No major gateway explosion. I would appreciate for those that watch the Summer Championship to know what build he went for. Against MaxPax. Ooh, it was a little bit indecisive. We have a Dark Shrine on the way. MaxPax being cheeky. It is not uncommon for Protoss players to skip and delay their Robo. So Clem, if he takes his 3rd base before the Robo, I'm going to be concerned. Now Clem is distracted. DTs, they can just end the game. It's happened to Hero, it's happened to MaxPax. If there is 0 detection for much longer... Ay. Does find the pylon at least, okay. Does deny the pylon. Expansion is on the way. Here comes that hallucination. Does Clem scout? he spots the third. MaxPax coming in for the interception. Does snipe, does deny. Here comes the robo, so it's a late robo out of Clem after the third base. Clem is pushing in. Dark Shrine is done. Dark Shrine is ready. MaxPax, he should be able to hold on here. But he's waiting for the pylon. Okay. So MaxPax, he's waiting for the pylon, which means an observer should pop out. Like these are precious seconds here that MaxPax is missing out on. The robo is almost complete. And the game won't end. Otherwise, that would have been crippling damage. If the pylon was never found, I mean, that would have been brutal. That could have been game. But you can see observers on the way. Again, the warp pins have been heavily delayed. DTs are waddling in, and Clem, he should defend. Assuming he notices. Yeah, he knows. Meanwhile, we have one DT in the main. DT at the natural, main army towards the third. Clem completely out of position. He's out of position here. 5 probes going down. Catching out a Stalker. Does he bait him in? Does he bait? He does! Does bait him in. And with that, MaxPax can take a better fight. He still backs off. DTs are still wreaking havoc in the bases. Still one at the natural, still one in the main. Clem, he can still chase him down though. Still has more Stalkers. Yeah, 19 versus 11. Clem, he can just try to commit. Out with their reinforcements. We have defensive warpins. DTs are dealt with. And as the dust settles, MaxPax, he's miles ahead. Sure, MaxPax, he's down in Stalkers, but what about the economy? And that's what matters here. 47 probes to 64. Full 3-base saturation. MaxPax from here, he can get further and further ahead. He just needs those warp-ins. He just needs to build up and focus on the army. And that's what he's on next. Even getting a 4th expansion. So the longer this game goes on, the better it is for MaxPax. The soup does lie here. The soup does lie. There's a lot of pressure on Clem. We have to push soon. He's going for a split push. Stalkers towards the 4th. Distracts MaxPax. Clem, he sees an opening. Does see an opening? Does he notice the stasis? No, he doesn't. No! As he gets caught out. 1, 2 stasis traps catch him out. Not again, Pappy, not again. Hero, is that you? It's like, oh no. As Clem, he gets baited in, and with that, he does not find any damage. He's getting caught out instead. He's forcing him into the fights, bleeding out every Stalker. And MaxPax, he's snowballing out of control. He was already ahead, now getting further ahead. Takes away the one thing that Clem had, which was the army advantage. Blinks in, he knows he can. And GG gets called. MaxPax, he will claim the series 3-2, becoming this week's LiuLi Cup champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to MaxPax as he does claim the series, does advance on, and will be our champion. Congratulations. It was a very intense back and forth, very intense. We did have, of course, both Clem and MaxPax popping off in their own right. Was impressive to see. I'm still thinking about game 4, for example. Clem, he was in such a good position. He was ahead. He had killed 30 probes. It was insane. But alas, the defenses were lacking, the attention was lacking, and you can see the mental break there for Clem. That was when he made the decision to switch to Protoss, which apparently he's had some success with in the past. I'm curious if anyone can say what happened. This is almost exactly what the water game looked like as well. Then Clem caught half of MaxPax's army on a recall and snowballed. I see. Interesting. But GG, well played. Congratulations to MaxPax. Again, did go the distance here in Clem. I was just happy to see that he only played mech once. And I mean, he almost won that game as well. Like that was a very chaotic game on ley lines. Like I'm still thinking about ley lines. I'm still thinking about the game 4 map as well. Still thinking about Tokamak. Where there's definitely a world where Clem could have taken the series, but also shows just how close in skill MaxPax and Clem are. Like they are the 2 respective best Terran and Protoss players in Europe, so they often do trade back and forth, and great to see that is still the case here as well with the 2 of them. GG. GG, well played. Rage quit? He he lost that game fight. What do you mean? But with that, GG. With that, GG well played. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time. With that, we are wrapping up for tonight's broadcast. And as a reminder, this is a weekly tournament. Every single week there is a LiuLi Cup. So next week will be LiuLi Cup number 6. We often do see these respective players. We had some crazy results this week as well. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you haven't seen the bracket yet. We had a crazy performance by Geralt. Geralt, he popped off out of all players in the lower bracket. I'm sure MaxPax is very happy as Geralt, he took down a Hero and Showtime. Geralt, he popped off. Again, he may have gone down to MaxPax, but MaxPax, he's the best Protoss in all of Europe. There's no shame in falling to MaxPax. So really impressive performance here by Geralt to take down Hero and Showtime. Unfortunately, we didn't really get to see those games, but really impressive play nonetheless out of Geralt. For me, he was kind of one of the standout performers in this tournament. Likewise, we were able to see Shin. Shin, he had his own fun performances as well. Clem popping off against Bjorn, against Shin, and even here against MaxPax went all the way to the ace match. So really solid performance. I do recommend the VODs if you missed out on them. There were some really entertaining series. And with that, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up here for the evening. We're going to be live in a couple of hours time with our next broadcast. As you can see our schedule, we are live twice a day, almost every single day. We cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there. We have all the content, all the StarCraft. We just wrapped up with our Wednesday evening broadcast, as you can see there with the LiuLi Cup logo, with the cup. Let's go. With the bowl even. Our next broadcast is going to be StarCraft Evolution League Championship. That is going to be Thursday morning. That's going to be at 9 a.m. KST. That'll be at 10 a.m. AEST. That it will be in 9 hours. 9 hours time. We're going to be live here with StarCraft Evolution. Meanwhile, in just under 24 hours, we're going to be live with the Pondcast. That's going to be a big cast as well, because it's going to be Pondcast into Masters of the Game. Masters of the Game, that's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 4 days straight of quote-unquote French StarCraft. For those who don't know, there's a big event happening in France, in Paris. There's a big offline event happening, but we are covering the online portion. And we have the group stage. We have the round of 16 group stage over the course of the next 4 days. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days of non-stop StarCraft. We also have the OSC mid-season playoffs. That's going to be Friday morning, and we have Ducklings Open Saturday evening as well. So again, a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. It's a very intense period in StarCraft at the moment, as it always is. Every single time I'm like, I would like to take things easy and have, you know, some half days off or some days off here and there. It just never happens. There's just so much happening. If you recall, RSL is also around the corner. So Revival StarCraft League is also this weekend. And we're going to be covering that next week, I believe, as well. So we have RSL. We have the Stellar Fest online qualifiers and online event, offline event in Canada. That's going to be around the corner. We have the SE2 Save House. We have the Platinum StarCraft League circuits wrapping up in December. We have Home Story Cup also around the corner as well. There's a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft. As always, StarCraft Evolution, which is wrapping up, and potentially another circuit for Euthermal's 2v2. Potentially another 2v2 circuit on the horizon as well. I know that Euthermal was very happy with the circuit initially, with the first edition of it, and I'm sure he's planning for the next one after the TLMC. That's another thing that's happening. Remember, the Team Liquid map contest is around the corner as well. I believe we are slated to have a new map pool in November. So I believe November should be our new map pool, and this time we're going to be refreshing the team game map pool as well. So exciting stuff. When it comes to TLMC, voting will soon be open. So as a bit of a PSA, if you're out there, your vote matters. Your vote matters when it comes to what new maps to bring to the tournament circuit, to the tournament scene. It'll be up to you to decide with your votes with the TLMC. So that's also around the corner. True. Who is MaxPax? If you haven't been tuning into much StarCraft, MaxPax has had actually a lot of interviews already. Famously, it was during Masters Coliseum. He did have some interviews during WTL as well. So MaxPax is just one of those players that prefers not to play offline. In my mind, I think it's more of like an anxiety sort of thing. Just someone that doesn't necessarily want to you know, go to an offline event and interact with people and all that stuff. Is a little bit more reserved and does keep to himself. But yeah, there's plenty of interviews and stuff out there with MaxPax, with KJ as well, with Psystorm. Is it over? Yes, we just wrapped up. We just wrapped up. Otherwise, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we are wrapping up for the time being. We are wrapping up. And we'll see you later on tonight. Either later on tonight with StarCraft Evolution or tomorrow with the podcast or my assets of the game. It's gonna be an intense weekend. I'm gonna try to get as much sleep as I can. I gotta sleep as much as I can. Stick around. We're gonna be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. We'll find someone to send everyone over to. Who's live at the moment? I think Hearthstone is still gonna be streaming, but we try to raid some smaller streamers whenever we can. Let's have a look. Mr. Sadsack is live. Poison is live. Gabe is still streaming. I think he was casting actually. Yo, M Canning. Let's go. We'll find someone to send our love to. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for support, and we'll see you guys next time. Also, if you want to tune into more of us, ! Socials, you can follow us over on YouTube. If you want to watch VODs, if you see something that you like here, if you can't watch it live, then YouTube is the place to be. As a reminder, Twitch, they no longer support VODs. VODs, they eventually deleted on Twitch, so YouTube is now the place to be for all that VOD content. So again, YouTube, VODs, all there. Is all there. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you next time. Ciao, bye, ciao. See you next time.